How is it possible? How is it possible that the player who can become the savior of the WNBA is being bullied by the players of her own league? I get it. Sports are intense. Pro basketball is intense. Competitiveness drives you to give it your all, to pour your heart and soul into the game. But there's a line between pushing the limits and crossing them. What's happening to Caitlin Clark isn't about proving who's the most competitive or who has the most heart. It's about players actively trying to tear her down, to hurt her, even to the point of risking injury. This isn't competition, it's something far more troubling. But Caitlin has proven something. She's proved that she's way above it all. All those attempts to destabilize her have come to nothing, because far from cowering, Clark has shown an incredible ability to rise above expectations. And it seems that somehow, those knocks she's taken throughout her rookie season have given her even more ambition to show what she's capable of. The first thing to make clear is that it's understandable that some players want to show their commitment to stop Caitlin. It's normal, considering that to get to the level of pro ball, you have to be confident in yourself, maybe even have an ego. An ego that prevents you from being passed over, even against a talent like Caitlin Clark. As fans, we really have to appreciate this attitude, and we've seen examples.
Got one more, Ari.
Ari McDonald of the LA Sparks pulled off one of the weirdest moments you'll see on the court. During a game against the Fever, she was at the foul line to shoot two, and after sinking the first free throw, she totally forgot she had a second one and immediately started guarding Caitlin. Everyone was stunned, Clark included. But as bizarre as it was, it indirectly shows just how dangerous Caitlin is as a player. It might even be seen as a twisted form of respect, a nod to her talent. But let's be real, most players aren't showing Caitlin this kind of respect. Instead, they're taking a much rougher route. There's no doubt about it. When we talk about Caitlin Clark, there's a name that immediately comes to mind for many reasons. A name that even the most casual basketball fans are familiar with. Of course, we're talking about Angel Reese. The Chicago Sky forward has been her fierce adversary since college, and the rivalry between these two players has been on the front pages of every sports media in the country. But Angel, who was the favorite to win the Rookie of the Year award in the most hyped class in the history of women's basketball, has crossed the line. We already know that the forward doesn't like Caitlin. It's something that's been abundantly clear since their duels at Iowa and LSU. She's also demonstrated it on several occasions with her statements. But just a couple of months ago, in a game between Indiana and Chicago, Angel made a terrible foul against Clark.
Third in the voting last season. Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over.
Now the official is pointing to his head here, and I think they're going to look at this. To review it.
The foul, I believe, to Angel Reese. Yep, across the head, and they will go to the monitor to review this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Reese is being reviewed for possible upgrade to a flagrant.
I think it'll be upgraded here. The sole purpose of it hitting her head.
She straight up smacked Caitlin upside the head with a move that looked all too deliberate. So, how did Caitlin respond? Not with words, but by letting her game do the talking. She went off, dropping a game-high 23 points, grabbing 8 boards, dishing out 9 assists, and swatting 2 shots, all while shooting a scorching 64% from the field. Caitlin led the Fever to victory, once again proving she's not just ahead of recent talent, but miles ahead in mentality as well. But it seems that the animosity towards Clark is not just a Reese issue. It seems that in the locker room of the Chicago Sky, this hatred can be breathed in the air. Kennedy Carter is known for her intensity and her intangibles. A couple of weeks before the Reese foul, Carter decided to display her full wrath against Caitlin. This time, it wasn't even in a critical game situation. This time, there's no doubt that the blow was on purpose. And if not, judge for yourselves.
This morning, this physical moment involving the WNBA's most high-profile rookie raising questions.
Unnecessary.
Chicago's Kennedy Carter shoulder-checking the Fever's Caitlin Clark, knocking her to the ground. The call initially deemed a common foul by officials.
This hit didn't make any sense. Out of envy, jealousy, or for whatever reason, Carter's cheap shot is something that should never be seen on a basketball court. At first, the referee didn't even call it a flagrant foul. And if that wasn't enough, Angel also elbowed Caitlin in the same game. And Caitlin, as always, didn't respond with words. Nor did she respond with a hit of her own. She responded by winning the game. Clark had a tough night, only managing 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, but she still managed to lead the Fever to victory over the Sky. Caitlin proved once again that her opponent's violent methods are useless. Instead, those methods are motivation for her to achieve even more. What's truly wild is that Caitlin always seems to be battling uphill, like the odds are stacked against her. It even feels like the refs have a double standard when it comes to her. She's constantly taking hard, intentional fouls, getting hate from all sides, and yet she's the one who gets hit with a technical foul for this? It's almost unbelievable.
Staying with her, preventing her from getting those touches.
And Caitlin Clark gets hit with a technical. After that foul call on Aaliyah.
Even she couldn't explain it to herself.
I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard, and he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball. So I don't know, it reminded me of the technical that I got in college where I said, damn it, where it's like a personal frustration. Had nothing to do with my team, had nothing to do with their reffing, had nothing to do with other team. It was just because I'm a competitor and I felt like I should have been making more shots. So, but I think he fired me up to continue to play a lot harder. I thought we got a lot better after he did that. So I want to thank him for that.
She's not fighting against a specific handful of players. It seems at times she's fighting against the entire league. A league that will only grow if it can get Clark to explode into a worldwide superstar. Although, well, let's be honest, she's already done that, because her second half of the season is already becoming legendary. Diana Taurasi said that reality is coming for Clark and that her growing period in the WNBA would be long. But the only reality is that it hasn't been that long at all. In the second half of the season, the Fever are on the rise and Caitlin is the most promising young player in the league. And the Fever have beat Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury in the 3 times they've faced each other. This is absolutely the best thing that could happen to the league. The impact of this player surpasses all precedents, and it's quadrupling the ratings of a league that continues to lose money. If Clark succeeds in the WNBA, she'll be the main reason the league gets a new and improved television contract. And if that happens, all the players will benefit. But for some reason, envy is outweighing this factor. And it seems at times these players don't realize what Caitlin means to the future of the league. Sometimes athletes have to put their ego aside for the greater good. But you know what's funny? NBA players and legends do realize what she means for women's basketball. Mostly because they've seen the same thing happen in their own league. Bird and Magic, Jordan, LeBron. There were many hyped players who changed the league completely by exceeding similar expectations. And that's helped turn the NBA into a worldwide elite league. That's why reactions like Charles Barkley's are completely understandable.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes.
And he's not the only one. One of the players who can best understand it, LeBron James, talked about this topic in a podcast with JJ Redick, a player who, by the way, knows what it's like to be hated on by many players of his generation.
World, but it is what it is, and I'm glad that Caitlin has a great head on her shoulder. She seems like it. I don't think I've ever met her. I don't think I've met her before, but it seems like everything is going to be great for her because she's a great talent. She seems like a great gal, and I hope she turns that franchise around to where Tamika Catchings had it at one point.
NBA stars aren't just riding the Caitlin Clark hype, they're cranking it up. Everyone's buzzing about the former Iowa star's incredible talent. Even Luka Doncic couldn't help but compare her to Steph Curry.
Amazing. I saw this morning. They said 41, almost triple double. He was shooting like that ball fly. Yeah. I watched a little bit, but then I had to do some treatment. But it was amazing. I watched the first half. But she got it going in the second half, so I didn't watch that.
Does she remind you of you at all? I mean, she's kind of got that. She's got a.
I just more Steph Curry. It's a woman with Steph Curry.
Okay. All right.
And what does Steph himself think? He's talked about Caitlin on multiple occasions and pretty much admitted that comparing her to him isn't even fair, because she's an even more complete player.
It almost robs her of like the rest of her game because she's such a good floor, she has her overall, floor game. She's racking up, close to triple doubles every night, and her shooting ability is, it's her superpower, but the rest of her game is as polished as that. And so it's must-see TV. And I love what it is done for, women's basketball in terms of when she shows up, the seats are filled. And
if the greatest shooter of all time, one of the most influential athletes in the world, can recognize Caitlin's greatness, what's driving her haters? What's really behind this behavior? Is it envy, pettiness, ego, bitterness, or just a desperate cry for attention, hoping to make headlines the next day? Whatever it is, it's not coming from a good place, and people are catching on. Fans see that Caitlin's impact goes far beyond the court. The WNBA finally has the player it's been waiting for, someone who can draw in even the most casual fans, someone with an irreplaceable aura who could change the league forever. So here's some bad news for the Caitlin haters. The wheels are already in motion, and there's no stopping it now.